This is the myth of the whitewashing of MLK, which basically comes down to MLK fought for garbage people to get a higher wage because they were working for Mississippi, and Mississippi was paying them a piss poor wage. Yeah, I know. Mississippi was and is one of the poorest states in the union. So of course they're going to pay their garbage workers very low wages. So it basically boils down to this. All these commies and socialists always like to point out this one factor of MLK, and also he advocated for the poor. Like, advocation of the poor is some radical stance. Like, you might as well say MLK's a radical because he advocated for clean water and women's rights. Whatever, man.
Conservative about MLK. There is nothing conservative about him whatsoever. So much so that he gets smoke for the fucking moderate liberals too. The moderate.
Wait, what? So MLK, the guy who did not have children out of wedlock, who decided to wait until marriage, who is a Protestant, pastor, I mean, and also who followed Lincoln's example of having all men be treated equal by the foundation of the capitalist motto that you have to pull yourself up from your bootstraps. Nothing's conservative about him. Nothing's conservative about him. MLK, the guy who's a dedicated Christian all his life. Man, Hassan, you really got me there. The albino Goro. And what the hell, why does he say moderate liberals? Of course conservatives hate moderate liberals. I mean, come on.
Because he's Christian, dude. So is radical liberal Raphael Warnock. So is Reverend Wright. These are all.
I'm sorry. I like Warnock. I actually campaigned for him down in the deep south, down in Georgia. So I have nothing to say bad about Mr. Reverend Warnock. But Jeremiah Wright, the guy who said "Goddamn America," it's in the Bible, which kind of weird. He thinks that America's in the Bible, but whatever. But even in MLK's most radical post, even in his most radical speeches, did he ever say "Goddamn America"? Like, come on. Hassan, you're freaking retarded, man.
Shut the fuck up with your r/atheist Andy bullshit. Stop letting conservatives hijack concepts such as patriotism while.
Maybe conservatives wouldn't hijack the concept of patriotism when you all stop bringing up people like Reverend Wright, the fucking, the albino, I don't even know what to call himself. Well, I know what to call you, and I'm going to call you it in a few seconds. But maybe you should, I'll call him an Oreo. Oreo Joe. Stop bringing up Oreo Joe, Reverend White, which damn near white, who says "Goddamn America." Can you name one conservative pastor that says "Goddamn America"? It's in the Bible. Everybody's gonna burn in hell. I mean, these are very condemning things, and you don't see any conservative pastors say this stuff. So maybe conservatives are quote unquote hijacking patriotism because the other side doesn't have any form of patriotism. Maybe that's it.
They espouse deeply unpatriotic values. Same with Christianity. The things that conservatives advocate for are fundamentally unchristian and fundamentally.
Who are you to say what's unchristian? Mr. Hassan? Mr. Hassan? I know you're not a Christian, so how could you tell me what's not Christian or is Christian? It's like me going up to a Mormon and telling him or her what their religion is about, which I know nothing of. So yeah. So Mr. Hassan, please stop telling us what is Christian or not Christian, Mr. Hassan.
Unpatriotic. Helping your fellow man is patriotic. Showing the.
Of course. Absolutely. That's Definitely. Well, that's more or less less patriotic and more of a personal thing. Like I wouldn't say like because patriotic has to do something with your country, not necessarily. That's an individual thing. I want him to explain how helping your fellow man, unless your fellow man like worked in the Marines, then I would say that's patriotic. But other than that, just helping a random person, I wouldn't call that patriotic, Mr. Hassan.
World that the wealthiest nation on earth should be the beacon of hope and prosperity and lend a help.
Yeah, when we try to lend a helping hand to other worlds that are like third or second world, we're called colonialists. We're called people who's whitewashing their culture with our American culture, with our women's rights, stuff like that.
Not. And same with Christianity. There is infinitely more shit in the fucking Bible that goes against hoarding wealth, and yet they avoid all that and like look to one God.
Dude, what are you talking about? Have you ever heard of Proverbs? Why don't you get the book of Proverbs, translate it into Arabic, and then read it? It talks about how a wise man will have wealth for his grandchildren. I would say that that's definitely hoarding wealth. And what do you mean hoarding wealth? You're telling me me saving up for the future, that's a bad thing? Are you fucking retarded? Read Proverbs 13:22 and then you'll get what I'm talking about.
That they misconstrue by saying, oh, like, well, they want to make sure that there's no sodomy, dude. Sorry. It's just, the Bible is clearly anti-gay. Okay, well, the Bible is clearly way more anti-wealth.
How? Jesus literally was raised rich. Remember the three magi? Well, he doesn't remember. He actually didn't read the Bible. But remember the three magi brought gold, silver, all types of stuff to him. And his family actually used that to be hella rich. Actually, Paul the Apostle says that Jesus was rich and turned himself poor for us. Like, he literally said that. So I don't know what are you talking about here.
And the actions that Jesus took, and also on top of that, the teachings of the Bible, teachings of Christianity, religious.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure a guy named Hassan would know plenty about Jesus, but isn't this supposed to be about MLK? Damn, I hate watching this guy's video.
76, he was considered one of the most hated men in the country according to a poll at the time. Yeah, 67% of the country after his assassination regarded him in unfavorable terms.
Wait, what? Are you talking about 1976 or 1968? Either way, the reason why they viewed him in unfavorable terms is because in 66 and 1967, there was tons of riots. There was tons of race riots in Watts, in Detroit, and he got most of the blame for that, a bulk of the blame, because he was the most viewed like black leader. So of course they like associated it with him. And many of the people who was in SNAP and all these black organizations where they were getting their tail beat like as like young little teens grew up and they joined the Panthers and stuff like that. Like y'all could research this yourself. 1967, 66 race riots. And that's sad to say. I mean, hell, LBJ is still considered a bad guy, even though he's not. Like, and also he was against the Vietnam War, which was very popular back then. So, of course, he was disliked. Look up the long, hot summer of riots. Then you'll get the whole picture. 1967 long, hot summer of riots. It started in MLK's home city, Atlanta, and then it spread out and ended in Tampa.
There was a larger, more robust and often militant labor union in this country where there were actual labor union demonstrations and it wasn't 6 people.
Yeah, that's when we actually had factories in this country. Before we got flooded by illegal immigration, General Motors and left Detroit. to go overseas and international companies. That's before Toyota existed. A lot of things, but now we don't have them anymore, thanks to NAFTA and thanks to China. So thank you, China.
Standing outside in a tent, outside of like a GM factory, saying like, "Shame on you, GM." When these demonstrations.
Hell, there's hardly any GM factories.
The idea was to rally people to Washington to press the federal government to provide jobs and income for the poor. This was his other dream, but he did not live to see it come to fruition.
Not only was his other.
Okay, I don't get this. I mean, you all are saying that the state government, like in Mississippi, pay people shitty. So you expect the federal government, a government that has to spread their income way thinner, like have, instead of Mississippi may have 10 like organizations, the federal government has at least 10,000 organizations. I mean, Mississippi may need to spread their bread by loaves, but the federal government's going to spread their bread by crumbs, man.
Dream never realized, his other dream is also not mentioned. And that's the other horrible fucking whitewashing of his history, is that Martin Luther King is never talked about as an anti-imperialist hero, okay?
How is he an anti-imperialist hero? Did he talk about how we had invasions in Cuba? Did he talk about how we had invasions in Guam? I mean, what? Did he talk about how we need a free Hawaii? Like, what did he say that's so anti-imperialist? Because when I think of Martin Luther King, I think of more civil, like, literally civil rights, like a thing that has to do within the state. Nevertheless, did he even visit Africa or outside of America? What the hell are you talking about?